so much. This is painful to have to look at yourself to talk to somebody. Who thought of this? Well, Roxy, Roxy.
Well, I agree. And however, when I was a kid and we would be on the phone talking to people that we had crushes on or whatever, and our whole thought, our whole everything was, oh, I wish I could see you. If I could just see you, everything would be great. And now I spend all my life on Zoom going, don't see me, don't see me. So,
Yes. Let's introduce who we have here today. I made her talk before the introduction. I kind of like breaking the rules. I'm just too old to go by rules, you guys. Today on Comic Spot, we have an amazing person from the Tucson comedy area. We have Roxy Merari. Roxy is a Tucson comic and founder of Comedy at the Wench, a weekly mic located at the Surly Wench Pub on historic 4th Avenue. You got to go there when you go to Tucson, you guys. She has performed
if you come, if you come to Tucson and you mention the show, I will buy you a drink.
See, it pays to let somebody interrupt you, guys. Quit acting like people that interrupt you are a problem. You wouldn't have known this. You would not have known this. This is awesome. Just jump in anytime, man. She has performed around the country, you guys. Yeah, I haven't. I performed on the West and East Coast, but this is not about me. Roxy was to be featured in the Bird City Comedy Festival in March 2020, but that has been postponed, as you know. She's an avid producer of comedy benefits and showcases. Oh my gosh. Locally, and was the first roast battle champion in Tucson. No way. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. She hosts a monthly radio show about all things comedy on KMKR 99.9. Well, actually, it's in full caps, so it would be KMKR. Comedy at the Wench currently has a virtual weekly mic Mondays at 7 p.m. MST. We do that with time zones. Watch wenchcomedy.com. Go there, sign up, hang out, find out what she's doing. Comedy at the Wench on Instagram, Facebook, and wenchcomedy.com. And I'll put that all up on the link. But for right now, welcome to the stage. Your girl and mine from Tucson, Roxy Merari. Woo!
Hey, thanks for having me, Linda. This is so much fun. What a great way to start a Friday morning. Your teeth look amazing. You have a beautiful smile.
My teeth come out at night. It's a superpower at bars at 2 a.m. Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Welcome to Tucson.
Thank you. Yeah, it is super, super, super hot here. It's going to be about 111 today, they estimate. So I'm super glad to be indoors.
Me too.
Happy about it.
I don't care how many cockroaches are in here today.
Hey, we have an audience.
I'm teaching them English as a second language, as it turns out.
How's that going? Are they fast learners?
Yes, they are. First, I have nothing else to do, so well, maybe they're not fast. Maybe I just have a lot of time. What have you been doing with all your pandemic time, Roxy?
A little more sleeping than I used to.
Yes.
A little more eating than I used to.
Yes.
I got lucky because my job was spared. I still have a day job. I haven't reached that other echelon yet of just only comedy. I mean, I could, but I also like having a roof over my head, so I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. I'm at my work right now. You can't tell because I've got the virtual background up, but I'm a paralegal. And it's such a treat because my coworkers both do comedy also. That's actually how I met my boss, the lawyer. She was coming to open mics so that she could sort of get better in the courtroom. And I overheard her saying that her assistant had moved to go with her boyfriend who works at Helium over in the St. Louis. And so I was like, did I hear you say you needed somebody? And at the time I was working as a barista. which is fun, on my feet all day and on the college campus. So plenty of comedy around that. Um, but this has been great. It's been a great career change. I've had to teach myself everything. My boss has been very patient. She's very funny. And then recently we got another coworker who's a dear friend of mine, also from Tucson Comedy, Roy Reynolds. And he produces a lot of shows. So when we're not working, we're all talking comedy. So it's very ideal. I'm lucky.
That is awesome.
I feel lucky.
I really love attorneys. So, especially if they're huge Sonny and Cher fans.
I haven't asked her, but I will.
Do you know why that is?
I don't. Please tell me.
Because they're pro bono. What did you expect?
You're so silly. That's so silly. I wasn't even thinking about Bono. That is so funny. And a great law firm would be if you take the Beatles' ex-wife and Sonny's ex-husband, and then you could have Bono and Ono.
Oh no, a Bono. I love this. This is going places. Need to be a comedy duo, Roxy.
Let's do it. Let's hit the road.
Yeah, we got enough yin and yang with the age and the looks. No, we could do this.
Hey, we both look good in red lipstick, so I'm for it.
Red lipstick.
Yeah.
Do you know why red lipstick bleeds? What's with that?
All lipstick bleeds on me because that's where I'm at. I'm not, makeup looks the best on the people who need it the least, right? It looks the best on 17-year-olds who've got that nice, smooth everything. They don't need it. But they're the ones who can stack like 4 colors this way, and their lips, there's no lines, there's nothing. They never look like Joker unless they do it intentionally. I look like Joker after 3 p.m.
Oh my gosh. Billy Crystal, he talks about his Aunt Clara in Boca Raton, and she has, do you know who Billy Crystal is?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
if it's the same Billy Crystal, unless there's a different one.
No, it's the same one. He says that she wears like one of those moles. She puts a mole on her face, and the mole is in a different spot depending on where she's going that night.
Oh, that's so cute. That's adorable. I love a good mole. This summer, I'm from Los Angeles originally, and I was home taking care of a friend of mine, and I went to the museum, the Ripley's, I think it was Ripley's Museum that they have on Hollywood Boulevard, and there's a Marilyn Monroe room, and you walk in and it's her things, it's her belongings, including her makeup case, which is like one of those old 50s boxes that you open it up and it's like got the 3 tiers, and it's all her makeup, the brushes, everything. You can still feel the stardust on them. And it said that she would spend 3 hours a day applying her makeup before she would go anywhere.
Wow.
So when you think about that little mole, that's a lot of decision making, a lot of precision application.
Yes, it is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't know 3 hours. She did her own makeup back in the day, huh?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow. Let's go back to your roots in LA. You were born and raised there?
I was born in Hollywood.
Wow.
At Hollywood Community Hospital on DeLong Prairie Street. It is no longer there.
Oh
I don't know what it is now. Probably an apartment building, I think. But yeah, I grew up there, and on the weekends we'd spend our weekends at Venice Beach. My dad would play handball, and my sister and I would run around in diapers with the dog. I guess my mom was there.
Wow.
I'm assuming she was there.
Your dad liked handball?
He did. So there's handball courts in, right there in Venice Beach, right by all the old iron, all the weight racks and everything. There's just handball courts, and they're still there. And he would play, and that's how I learned to curse. That's where I learned all my curse words.
Because when your father,
he's a sore loser.
Okay, so you have to hear a little bit about my life.
I would love to.
My dad came from Germany. He was Jewish, which means I'm not Jewish because I didn't say my mother was. So my dad was Jewish,
and he was in Europe before Hitler, and Hitler took out his whole family. He was the only survivor. That's really funny. I get it. And so he played handball until Hitler said the Jewish people couldn't partake in sports. So the Olympics took handball out of the Olympics in 1938 because they were afraid Jews would get in there and play it. So my dad in 1972, he got the Olympic committee to put Olympic handball back into the Olympics.
That is such a great story.
I thought
Wow.
you'd like it.
I had no idea. I had none. Wow.
That's all I'm going to say about my life. Let's go back to yours. But I thought you'd appreciate it since your
I
dad.
absolutely appreciate it, and I can relate. And I did lose a lot of family during that same kerfuffle in the 30s and 40s. So yeah, it's definitely part of my history too.
Got it. Oh, well, wow. We're sisters in that.
Yeah.
Sisters in that. Yes, not funny. Not a funny time. So
Nope.
growing up in Hollywood, you probably got to grow up with stars.
Well, so we didn't stay in Hollywood long, and my formative years were in the San Fernando Valley. I am a bona fide Valley girl. I remember when the Galleria was built.
Whoa.
I remember when it opened, and I definitely basically paid rent there. I was there a lot.
You like to shop?
Well, there was an arcade there,
Mhm.
and then there was Mexican dance, and you could go with your $5 and play video games all afternoon and still have enough money for a bean and cheese burrito that you would split with your best friend and ask for all the extra salsa. We're trying to get all the calories we could. Like, give us all the salsa, whatever's free. And then just follow the boys around. I mean, that's what we did.
So Comic Spot, I love it. I know you've loved it. Let's keep it going. I need your help. I developed it so you out there can get to know comics, whether they're brand new or 45 years in the biz. We're going to get to know them so you'll know who to love. So all I need you to do is donate to my Cash App, and that is Linda Marcus Smith. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So when did you find out that you were fit for the stage? And was it just comedy? Because I see acting in you. Are you an actress too?
No, I'm not. And so when I was really young, I had a beautiful voice and I wanted to sing. And when I was a kid, I got some kind of illness and I was sick for about a month and my voice was never the same. And I could never do it again. And
do they call that the Mariah Carey?
I don't know. Oh, come on. She's nice, girl. No, she's yeah, I don't know what they call it. It was just like a bad bronchitis or something, but it was pretty bad. But no, I didn't start comedy until I was much older. And but interestingly enough, my father, he's no longer with us, may he rest in peace, but he really loved comedy. And when I was a kid, he would take me to the Hollywood Improv. He would take me to all the places. And that was what we bonded over. We used to watch Def Jam together.
Oh my gosh.
And he would just like fall out of his chair. And so I grew up with this real love of comedy, but it didn't ever occur to me that I could do it until much, much later. And so my experience before comedy was mostly in storytelling. I used to do a lot of storytelling events. And and then one night somebody took me to an open mic and I was like, oh, I can do that. I can go up, there's no magic. You don't need an invitation. You just go do it. And then I knew like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do now.
So how nervous were you to do it the first time, and how did the first time actually go?
I was not nervous. I think I was probably like most open micers, like, I laughed, and that's what I wanted to do. I love to laugh. And so I hear a lot of, people say, oh, you're a comic, you need all this validation and you want people to love you. And that's really not my thing. My thing is laughing. I've had a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, and what heals me is laughter. I like to laugh at other people's jokes. I like to make myself laugh. I just want to laugh.
Me too.
Yeah, so as long as I'm laughing, I'm fine. If I bombed but I made myself laugh, I'm still okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've been through a lot of trauma as well. And I don't know if you want to speak to what you've overcome and how you've overcome it, but if you do, you may feel free to do it. That's a great forum for it. So
Thanks. Just you could just say I grew up too fast and just sort of did all that fast track stuff, and it really took a toll on me. And I lost a lot of adult years. There was a long time when I was functional out there in the world, having careers, but I had this total double life for a really long time until finally it just all started to come crashing down, and I started to lose things like apartments and cars and every possession and friends and family, and then I stayed like that for quite a while.
and what got you to
But here
the
I am.
place where, yes, you're in recovery now. And what got you to the
Yeah.
place of going to recovery and making it through recovery?
Well, I had tried a few times, and to be clear, the recovery I do is not around the substances. It's around another area of my life. But that was what I needed to do to stop being that person who needed those other things. But I think it was just age and maturity. Oh, and then there was this thing where I got pregnant and I had a kid. And so I was like, yeah, I knew that when I understood that I was pregnant, that I was never going to do anything that could ever allow the state, for example, to come take my child.
That's-
So that's when it really cemented for the
Me
last
too.
time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm agreeing with everything you say. And I went through things because of bad choices, but my bad choices were maybe different than that. It had to be like with me, it was being too good of a parent to a fault where I never said no. And so now I don't have her in my life, but I'm doing comedy. Because if you never tell no to your child, at some point they're going to say, hit the road. Because at some point you're going to have to say no, and they won't be ready for that. So don't ever spoil your children is the lesson.
Spare the rod. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
No, it's true. I think when I was a kid and I started acting out, I think what I really was searching for was discipline. And I think that the lack of discipline kept making me, in my kid brain, I kept acting out harder and harder, thinking, oh, now they're going to ground me or they're going to stop me from doing the thing. And they sort of didn't. And then at that point, the physical parts of whatever I was involved with took their own course, and it was no longer a choice.
Got it.
Right.
I really get this.
Yeah.
Really understand it. So you started comedy about what year?
Recently, it was January of 2015 was the first time I stood up at an open mic.
And you're doing all of these things, the radio, hosting, how in the
Producing.
world, producing.
I had to
thank
make
you.
up for lost time, because here I am, I was, in my mid 40s when I started with all these young people. And I was like, how am I gonna, by the time they're my age, they're gonna have been doing it for 20 years. So I just went hard. I got involved. I started going to every open mic. There weren't even open mics available in Tucson. So me and my friends started making them.
Wonderful.
I founded, my show, like you mentioned earlier in the intro. I just jumped in with both feet and tried not to judge myself for the fact that I started so late, and tried to look at it as a plus of okay, now I've got all this. Yeah, they're 20 and they're funny, but what have they done in their lives? I have stories,
Yes.
So it is what it is. I wish I had started sooner, but I'm glad I found it now. Our community here is super vibrant. I mean, there's just, I think pound for pound, Tucson has absolutely great comics. A lot
you
of them overlap.
started it.
Well, I started comedy at the Wench, so I did definitely give a platform. And I started that because there just weren't, it's the same as in most scenes, right? Like male dominated, not a lot of female voices, one token woman on every show. So I started comedy at the Wench to try to attract more women, and every time I would see a woman at an open mic, I'd be like, come be on my show. And so then I got a reputation of sort of being a great place to start, and somebody who could sort of welcome you with open arms and set you on a path.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, couple of questions that are out of the box. How has the pandemic made you dig deeper, and how are you going to come out of it better in some way, like as a human, as a friend, as a family member, as a comedian, as a producer, as a whatever? In what way are you so much better already, and we still have God knows how much longer?
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a great question. So I have to dig in and cling on to hope.
There you go.
I just have to find the hope and look for the good. The hard parts, the challenges, the scariness, it's all right there. It's all around me. There's no shortage of it. So what I have to dig in and do is be hopeful and recognize the expansion, the creativity, the workarounds that our humans are embracing to move forward. I'm very scared right now. I'm very scared of all the people that are about to lose their homes, scared that there's going to be a lot of lawlessness. I live in Arizona. There's a ton of guns.
Yes.
I'm not armed.
Yes.
So I worry about these things, but I also really love that there's, innovation, there's expansion, there's creativity. Obviously Zoom comedy is the norm now. And it's fun. And even that, yes, it's a drawback. Yes, you don't have that laughter, that feedback. You don't have a room to read. I have no idea who I'm telling jokes to or how they like it. So I'm just practicing to hear my own voice. I have to see myself when I'm doing it now.
So painful.
It's, yeah, it's not my favorite. And then my friend hosted a backyard show, a social distant backyard show. And I went and I did that standing up in front of a group of people. And it was like being a newcomer to comedy again. I had lost my sea legs, and that was I was like, oh, all this practice I'm doing on Zoom comedy doesn't actually translate to stand up in front of an audience practice. It's a different thing.
Absolutely.
And so that was a huge realization. And when we do come back, I cannot wait to get back to the Surly Wench pub. It's my favorite place. It's my Disneyland. It's my happy place. Like they have everything there, right? There's dancing, there's bands, there's the best bartenders in the world, there's karaoke, there's burlesque. It's a fun place if you're over 21. It's like
super.
Really fabulous. So I can't wait. But me and my producer, Clayton Brash, we're still going to keep our Zoom show because it's allowed us to connect with comedians from all over the country. I became aware of you through seeing your interview with Jolie RX.
I love her.
I love her too.
Wow.
Right? And I happened to see her promoting the Comedy show, back then, and what was that, June 21st, International Joke Day, and I got on that show. And I met those comics, and now they come to my show. So again, this really wonderful time of expansion through this really dark, scary time. And I was talking to my sister today, and she was pretty gloomy. She was pretty sad, and I just kept telling her, like, what we both know, like, you have to look for the good and try to help somebody else. Yeah, you're scared that people are going to be starving and lawless and homeless. Well, donate, let somebody stay on your couch. I mean, I'm not gonna, but you should.
I will when I get guns.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I have tried to donate. I've donated water to the Indian reservation here. They were having a hard time getting water, so they had campaigns. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that you can help. Even just homeless people in the corner. Like now I've been keeping water in my car, and I don't hand out money through my car window, but like I'll hand out water, something easy that
Beautiful.
you can do that can make a difference to a person in a day.
Absolutely. So we don't know how much longer we're going to be in the middle of the pandemic, but if they were to say, listen, world, the entire world, the pandemic is gone, and here's $1 million each, where would you go? What would you do? Who would you do it with?
Oh, wow. I would probably host a really big party.
Oh,
And I would probably try to fly in as many of my friends that I've missed as possible. So that, I think that would be my number one, is just have a great big party with some bands, with some comics, with great food, with hugging everybody, just
yes.
hugging, so much hugging. I can't wait to hug my friends.
I know it. Oh, I miss
I
it
miss
so much.
hugs
Me
so
too.
much. And then as places I would like to go, I've always wanted to go to Tokyo.
Oh,
I've always wanted to go there, and you know, Hawaii, something beachy, sandy,
yes.
watery.
Yes. Relaxing and vibrant place to renew your spirit, get refreshed.
Definitely.
So, you were talking before we went live about the fact that you're hoping to get on a really good show here in Vegas, which brings up to my mind, how has your comedy career been going besides the things you produce and host and all the things you're out putting out great content on radio and having Zoom shows? What are other things that you've accomplished that you're really proud of that other people have invited you to?
Oh, definitely. Anytime I'm going to go out of state, any city I'm going to visit, I always, before I go, I'll go on Facebook and see if that town has, you know, a comedy group, Detroit comedy or whatever, and I always ask to join. Um, and it's kind of easier for me to get into these closed groups because I do have the cachet of saying, hey, I have a very popular show in Tucson, and you know what I mean? And
Yes.
you're welcome to come be on it, and I'm coming to your town. So that has helped get my foot in the door. You know, I'm not, it's not like I'm going around the country headlining. That's not where I'm at yet. But I do contribute, and I do definitely get on the independent shows, whatever town I'm going to. To me, it's like, it's not, there's no, like, I don't go to any town. If I go to a town and I don't do a comedy show there, I feel like it's a loss, right? I'm operating at a loss. I didn't really embrace the trip. So
Yes.
I always make that a priority. And, you know, there's that comedy camaraderie. People I've found for the most part pretty welcoming.
Yes.
You know, you're always going to find that one person that's like me. Like, people hit me up when they're coming from other towns. Hey, you know, I'm coming to town, and I will always try to plug people in to different shows. So,
Awesome. Did you hear that,
yes.
you guys? She's willing to plug people into her shows in Tucson. So write
Oh
this
yeah, and
name down.
I've helped people get on even my friends' shows. We're pretty good about that, about letting people get guest sets or just hop on whatever shows are happening. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So
Yeah.
who has helped you, and how have you found that your niche is to help others in comedy?
What has helped me, or who has helped me, is that, well, we have one actual comedy club that's just only comedy, and they've been here for 30 years. It's called Laughs, Laffs. They used to have multiple locations. I think there's one in Texas. Do you know where the other Laughs is? Albuquerque, I believe. Yeah. I don't think they have all three of them, but we still have ours. It's been here for 30 years. And so I always support our local club, and I go on the weekend shows. They have a policy of, if you're a micer, you know, they'll let you in to just watch the show as long as there's seats available. And I always chat up the headliners, the host, you know, I talk to everybody. I invite them to my show. I talk to them about comedy. It's always I love talking about comedy, so I'll always talk to the headliners, and that's been great because they've toured around. I don't tour so much. I mean, I've got a small child, and I'm not Lori Kilmartin yet. I don't know how to make all that work just yet.
How old is your one child?
She is 11. She's starting 6th grade on Monday, whatever day that is. But yeah, so talking to the headliners and asking them and, saying, hey, can you saw my set, would you mind vouching for me? All these kinds of things.
Great tips.
It's a great tip.
You've given me some great tips. Just the way that you approach clubs when you're going on a trip, and then what to ask a headliner.
Yeah, that's how I found out about some of that show that I mentioned I would like to do in Vegas. I heard that's a good proving ground, so I want to check that out.
Awesome. That's so awesome. When you come to Vegas, will you look me up so we can at least have coffee? And if you get on,
of course,
if you get on a show, I want to pay to come watch you. I'm not asking for free tickets. I'll pay to come watch you.
Oh, you'd be my +1, and we'll both put on lots of red lipstick.
Okay, let's do it.
And we'll just walk in, right? The blonde and the brunette. Yeah.
Yes, let's do that. Give me 5.
So for that.
Give me 5. Virtual 5.
5.
Now that you're a graduate of all my many questions, because I'm like Gladys Kravitz on Bewitched. I'm always like nosy, the nosy neighbor.
She was the greatest. So good. And her husband in the show playing the straight. Oh gosh.
Yes.
That was the best.
So now that you're a graduate of Comic Spot, you're on the same level as Sinbad. You can tell every club I said that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, Roxy and Sinbad, synonymous.
Yes.
They same amount of experience, same amount of quality. Yeah, absolutely.
I take this picture with me when I go to Starbucks, and I still have to pay for my coffee. I don't get it, but
the nerve. Those corporate jerks.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
It's that bitchy lady on the cup. The one with the weird hair and all that.
Well, listen, if you had to split your mermaid tail and hold it up behind your head, you'd probably
have a few issues.
Yeah. I don't know why they got to keep her like that. They should let her, stretch out a little bit every once in a while.
Yes.
Take it out.
Take it on out. So now that you're a graduate of Comic Spot, my dear, I want you to know that anytime you want to come back on for 5 or 7 minutes to plug one of the any number of things that you're doing, please come back on. And every month you can have 5 to 7 minutes to plug something.
Thank you so much. What a treat, what an honor, what a joy. And I would like to reciprocate and tell you that I would love to interview you for a segment on the radio show, because you could be a resource for other Tucson comics as well.
Yes.
And tell me about the genesis of this Comic Spot. Like, so how many interviews have you done? How long has this been going on?
I've done about 508 interviews, and 476 of them during the pandemic, and about 30 or 39 of them in Portland, Oregon at Harvey's Comedy Club, because they had me interviewing a headliner a week, sometimes a feature. And so almost for a year I did that. And so I got the bug to do this. I'm very good in the moment, and I'm very nosy. I just want to ask. If you met me at a coffee shop, this is what you get. You just get a little old lady asking questions, trying to put in a zinger here and there. And that's who I am. And so, but I did it because the minute this pandemic hit, I was so depressed. I mean, this is worse than the World War II reels of the Holocaust and the Black situation in America. This is worse than everything all combined, and we're barraged with it on TV, and it was depressing. And so one day I was trying to, somebody had me going on Zoom, so I had to test it. And I thought, well, I'll see if one of my friends has Zoom, and I'll test it with a friend. And my friend was really depressed. And then as we joked, both of our spirits lifted because we were connecting and joking. And I got to check in and see how she was doing, and I saw she wasn't doing very well. And then I identified with that, and pretty soon we were both feeling great as we could. And so I thought, well, I'll just call some comics. And that's how it started. I was just nosy and I wanted to know how people were doing. And people were like, oh my gosh, you should do this. And then this guy named Bill Kirkenbauer, he's an old sitcom dude from way back. I don't mean old in a bad way. I just mean in the gangster. He's OG, like the 60s and 70s. He was in major shows. And I said, can I interview you? And he said, no, you're not even doing this professionally. You can't do this like this. I was just on Instagram, having a person on there and all the background noise and everything. And I go, well, what the hell are you talking about? Why don't you tell me what it is I need to do to get you on the show? So he did. And I went out and got a new computer and Fandango equipment. And so I said, okay, I did what you said. Now are you coming on my show? And he said, yes. And ever since Bill came on, everybody's been clamoring to get on the show.
That's so fantastic. That's such a great story. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Yeah.
It
really brings up a good point, which is something I wanted to say about this pandemic, that, call people, get out of your own head and call people and see how they are doing, which is what you did with your friend. And it made you feel better. It made her feel better. And now you have this whole new career going on, which is fantastic and fun and helping people. But yeah, check up on people.
Check up on them. There's so many people getting ill and losing possessions and losing lives and so much misery.
Your voice could be a lifeline. You just don't know.
We don't know.
And
Yes.
And you bring up this other point, well, you're saying that you're like this little old lady, which you're not. You're very vibrant and youthful, clearly.
I'm 69 years old.
Yeah, but your aura is not, right?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Your aura is like in your 20s and 30s, right? Like, but the beautiful thing about that, people, because I'm surrounded by young people, comedy is a large part a young person's game. They're mastering all the technology and they have all these ins and they've got all the vim and vigor and piss and energy, and they like to give me a hard time and boomer this and boomer that. You know what? I got to be my age. You don't have any guarantees, right?
There you go.
These kids, they think it's a given that they're going to get to be as cool as me in their 50s and stuff. You're not guaranteed that.
No,
like we made it this far, and not everyone, they don't know.
They don't.
I do take comfort in that. Like, I made it.
Yes, yes. Well, I wish you the very best, and I sincerely mean it. And if I get a ride or I head out to Tucson, I'll be hitting you up. And if you get to Vegas, hit me up. And I'll try to find people. I know people that have things. They're all over Facebook page, but the Facebook Vegas group. But I know some of them, and I can vouch for you as well if that helps you.
That would be wonderful. And I am going to make it to Vegas, and probably my coworker Roy is going to go with me. I'm sure we're going to take a road trip. That's Roy Reynolds. He's great.
Reynolds. I want to interview him too. I want to interview every comedian on the planet.
Aha! That's a fantastic goal. I love it. I would love to help you achieve your goal.
Thank you. We are very essential, especially right now. You are essential. We are essential. Damn it.
Thank you. You know what? Thanks for saying that.
Yes.
Laughter is essential. It is the best medicine. This is such a pleasure. Thank you very, very much for having me. It is just a delight to meet you.
You are a delight too.
I would like to connect with you in person and go out with our red lipstick.
Okay. And then I get a hug, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
First things first.
Thank you so much, Roxy Merari. You guys, I'm going to post this with all her links and her intro again, so you know. And in 3 days to a week, Roxy, my tech person, will get you, I will send it to you, a sitcom version of this. And it's really cool if you'd share it. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. I'll put it on. I have a couple websites, and it'll be out there.
Thank you so much, Roxy.
Thank you.
Bye, Roy.
Have a wonderful day. She says bye. He says bye.
Bye. See you later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Keep laughing.
Bye, you guys. Love you.